And real quick, stay where we at, but it's important to have a lot of money saved up before buying a house, not because you need it, but it gives you leverage. I always tell people, this is my thing. If you hear anybody else say this, they stole it from me. Buy a house when you want to, not when you need to. Woo! If you buy a house when you need to, you're going to overlook a lot of stuff on the inspection. Yes. The seller going to, bully you like, nah, we ain't doing this, we ain't doing that. You be like, okay.
Taking the washer and dryer.
Yeah. Yeah. True story.
Yeah.
But when you saved up and you got all your ducks in a row and you could take your time, you know what I mean? You have so much more control, and you could sit there and say to a seller, hey, listen, I'm willing to meet you in the middle, but if you're not meeting me, I'll walk. It ain't nothing.
Facts.
Beautiful people, Boots in the Bag Podcast, episode 1. I am your host, Marion Rice, but you guys can call me Mars. And this is also the host right here.
I'm Kareem. I go by Kareem. So it's our first time, so excuse the jitters. But yeah, man, glad to be here. Glad to share this knowledge that we got coming for you guys out there.
Man, I've been thinking about this all week. I've been thinking about this all week. I was excited. I wanted to text Kareem all week. Like, bro, you researching, you ready?
Damn near did.
Man, for real. I got a voice message from him, but it was his wife like, Negro, go to sleep. Go to sleep. We old over here, but nonetheless, we here. We excited, and I'm happy to be doing this because I wanted to do a podcast where we could really talk about investing in yourself, finances, emotional, physical health. And at the intersection of that, I wanted it to meet with being in the military, being that I got 9 years of experience. And Kareem, how many?
15, going on 16 next year. Yeah, I see the light at the end of the tunnel. And so what the great thing about this is, I think me coming in early on, I didn't have too much clue on finances. Poor kid from Miami. I just joined the military to escape poverty, and a lot of black folk in the military, actually a lot of poor folk, period, can attest to the same thing. So I think with the tools and some of the lessons we are bringing to the table, you guys can benefit a lot from, right? And hopefully prevent you from going down the same rabbit hole I went down.
We went down.
Yeah, we went down, actually.
Yeah. I think at the very root of the inspiration of this podcast for me was that I remember being I just had made E4. Just made E4 because I remember at the time, right before I made E4, I found out I was pregnant or whatever. So it was like,
pregnant? How far along were you?
Man, I was about 4 weeks. I wasn't showing yet.
I didn't know men's could do that. All right.
But yeah, we was pregnant, and I remember looking at my bank account, and I had a dash in the front of my numbers with red numbers, man. Like, life was crazy. So I just look back on that, and I'm like, I always had a heart to help junior sailors and senior sailors. At a certain point, I was giving game out to COs, captains, commanders, because everybody could get this game. It's free. So I just, we wanted to start this to really start giving people some guidance out here so that you guys could either take advantage of your career or take advantage of transitioning out.
I always say that, man. It's better be prepared. One of the Navy things I take with me is stay ready so you never have to get ready, right? So, like, your finances, man, I can't tell you how stressed I was when my finances weren't manageable. I'm not saying perfect, but just manageable, right? You have to worry where your next meal coming from, how you going to pay the bill, whatever. And this is 19, 20-year-old me making really dumb mistakes from sending money back home, money I didn't have, to blowing it at the clubs down Virginia Beach Boulevard. So, like, there's nothing I haven't seen, especially in that realm. So we're just here to share the knowledge and definitely help, and hopefully it goes a long way. Right?
Absolutely. So before we even get into a topic, want to give you guys background on both of us so you understand the credibility. Because it's easy to say 9 years, 15 years.
Right.
But when I say 9 years, baby, before first enlistment was over, I was able to go debt free. I was able to do this and do that. Then you like, wow, okay, this guy went through a lot. So I'm going to give you the quick down and dirty version. So within my 9 years, had my son. He about to be 8 on the 20th. And yeah, man. Yeah. It's one of the scariest things ever because at that moment, you know you got to grow up. It's time to grow up.
Right.
It didn't click for me being a father until he was about 3.
Wow.
Yeah, so apart from that, then you talk finances. Like I said, I've seen my account in the negative before. So to be on the other side now, I've been able to pay off my car. I've had my car 10 years now. So car paid off. I had a car payment. Been able to invest while in the military.
Good feeling.
Hacking, which we're going to get into today. Hacking your VA loan, military house hacking.
Ooh.
Yes.
So hot stuff.
I've been able to do that twice. And I just want to get a game back to y'all on that particular topic. And yeah, just apart from that, in 2019, when I went to shore duty, right? I tell everybody, the goal was to have 2 paths, path A and path B. Path, or I should say path A and path C, path active and path civilian. And it was like, I need to
coin that phrase.
You got coin that? It was like I got to do work on both paths because right now I'm not sure if I want to stay in or I want to get out.
Right.
So once I decided that I was getting out, I had already did so much work on both sides. I had so many collateral duties. I had the EP evals. I was really putting in the work, but I was like, you know what? It's time for me to depart the spaces. So on that side, I already had my associate's degree. I had certifications. I had my license as a real estate agent. Yes, I am a licensed real estate agent in Virginia. And I already had my SkillBridge paperwork, and we're going to get into that in a couple episodes as well, what SkillBridge is. Yeah. But I had my SkillBridge paperwork in to really make the transition smooth. So I got a lot to offer anybody that want game out there.
Yeah, all right. That's beautiful. Honestly, he talked so many points that he just tapped on, right? So, like, him having a son, right? And was your father around, like, in your...
Nah, not my biological.
So now you're having to learn. So you not only going to defend your country, now you got to learn how to be a father figure to a brand new human being and an adult and financially stable. It's a lot, right? So he's a real estate agent, great one, by the way. Helped me get this beautiful house. It's like my dream house. We talked about it. Literally, it was like less than a month, maybe 2 months, maybe from start to finish. Painless, man. So definitely, if you're in the market for getting a house, hit my man's up. But
getting a plug in there.
Yeah, just do some promo. But anyway, I said my name is Kareem Williams. I've been in 15 years as an engineman, first class. Luckily, by the grace of God, my financial background is poor kid from Miami, stayed in a studio apartment with, 2 brothers and a sister coming from the slums. Like, to, traveling the world, being a part of the U.S. Navy. And I'm not going to boast about how great the Navy has been and been to me because I've had ups and downs and everyone else's journey is different. But I can tell you it was an opportunity for me to escape jail. Poverty, crime, all that stuff. So I did take full advantage of it. I haven't finished schooling yet, but I'm definitely going to take advantage of that, and we'll talk about that. I aim for this podcast too, and I know Mars is on the same plateau, is we bring as much information as that could be helpful towards all military walks of life, and then civilian sectors too. So like we're talking about investing and doing side hustles, right? So I invested in myself back in 2019. I started a trucking company.
Shout out to the trucking company, Aries Trucking.
Yep, started a trucking company. Unfortunately, we hit COVID, but even through COVID, we were still making, pretty good money.
Talk about it.
What happened recently, why I just shut it down, it became way too much for me to manage. Being full-time military, active duty, and running that trucking company got crazy. And if I was smart enough, I would have hired a management company to take over. But I just called it quits. But definitely, it's something I'm definitely going to look back into in the future. I bought my house this year, first house. I got married last year. have a 4-month-old baby, about to be 5 months on the 22nd. I have 2 daughters, my wife, and I'm living the things I thought I only could see in a dream, right? And it's only gonna get better because I'm a hustler. So yeah, we talking about things offline, but that's a little bit about me. It's my spill.
Bet, man. So let's go ahead. Let's get into this topic of this episode being military house hacking. You guys are looking at, and you talking. If you commenting, you talking to somebody who's done this personally twice, and I'm a real estate agent, so now I really understand how to really hack the game. So getting into that, I would say start no matter what you do in life, start with educating yourself. Informing yourself, educate. So what does that look like? Books, podcasts, YouTube videos, articles, forums, groups on Facebook, everything you can imagine.
Yeah.
Don't fall into analysis paralysis where you stuck making a decision because you feel like you want to know everything, but build a foundation for yourself with information so that you can make a confident first decision. Right?
How did that look for you, like going into that field? Did you have to YouTube it, or do you have people that you were like they were mentoring you? How did that look for you?
Oh, yo, you brought up a good one. Mentors. I definitely, if you could cop a mentor, definitely get a mentor. They will shorten the path for you. For me, what that looked like was a whole bunch of YouTube, so many videos. On top of that, books. I mean, I read, the classics, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Bigger Pockets got a whole line of books that's amazing. So I read a lot of those. And a lot of it at the beginning of my journey was not even just real estate, but it was just financial intelligence. So,
Word. So you said you YouTubed, and what made you want to go into real estate? That may be a little further on, but what made you want to jump into real estate?
As an owner or as an agent?
As an agent.
All right. So as an agent, because that was after I didn't become an agent until about 3 years later after buying my first property.
So all right. So let's back up. So what made you want to buy your first property? Because a lot of people joining. Now I've talked to a lot of young cats. Including myself, I just didn't know, but a lot of young cats say they don't want that responsibility of owning their own property when they're young. What do you have to tell?
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Listen.
Is this camera on me?
Is this camera on me?
Stupid, guys.
Look. Your E6, your E7, your chief, whoever. I believe that they mean good intent when they say stuff like that to you, but that is literally one of the most hurtful things that they can say to you.
Why is that?
Because real estate is investing in you, investing in your future. If it's done right, let me put that, if it's done right. So if you have somebody in your ear saying, nah, your BAH is not to buy a house, it's to do this. No, don't do that. Because after this episode, you're going to be thinking about your BAH. You're going to be thinking about your VA loan completely different. So, yeah, I mean, with buying my first one, it was just like, yo, I don't want to rent anymore.
Right. So another tidbit, right? If you look at this, and I'm not saying everyone's meant to be a millionaire, not everyone's meant to be an entrepreneur, but more than 70% of the world's millionaires come through real estate. And what does that look like? Does that mean you have to be a fix and flipper? You got to be an investor? No, simply buying your house or your property, right?
Facts.
Just rule of thumb, right? Even during the recession, the heights of recession, some people say we are in a financial recession. You hold on to a house. What happens over the course of you paying that mortgage off? Builds equity, right?
Builds equity. On average, my fault, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
On average, homes appraise higher. They increase value 2 to 3% a year. 2 to 3%. So you always gonna build equity. Go ahead.
Right. And so now you have something that's yours, a deed in your hand, and you are paying on that something that is yours. So if you do happen to fall on hard times, God forbid, knock on wood, you sell that, right? You sell that property that you have equity in, right? And if you're making your payments on time, you're selling it at a surplus. You're putting more change in your pocket, and you go out and do the same thing. But that's worst case scenario. So me coming in, young cat in the military, I remember 19 years old. I was talking to my work center soup, and he was talking about one of his rental properties, how much trouble he was having in it, whatever. And I'm like, whoa, you're like 24, 20. Why do you have your own house? I thought it was, basically reserved for people in their 30s, whatever. He's like, yeah, man, but I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. it's too much of a headache. And I'm like, you know what? He knows right. He knows better. Cool. All I knew was apartments and condos and stuff. Man. So I stayed in the. Had I used my single 18, 19-year-old E2, E3, 4, E5 paychecks and had my own and learn how to house hack, which you're gonna get into later, man. Who knows where I'd be right now?
Man, what?
Yeah, it's crazy. So back to it. So all right, that's what made you wanna get your own spot, right? You're just tired of throwing money down the toilet, renting. All right, so what made you want to be a real estate agent?
So fast forward like 3 years. So I've always been a people person. Mm-hmm. Always had a bubbly personality, talking to everybody, whatever. And one day I hit up my agent at the time. She helped me with my first property and my second property. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, yo, do you think I could be a real estate agent? And she was like, absolutely, like no brainer, like boom. So then I thought about that, and then I also thought about when you talk about having a real estate team, one of the most pivotal parts of that team is your real estate agent. So I was like, I want to get more into those conversations. How can I get myself into the conversation? Mm-hmm. I'm becoming an agent. Mm-hmm. So now when it's, when you have investors, they're looking for flips, or you have first time home buyers, I'm the perfect source. I like what they call the hub. Mm-hmm. Whatever you need real estate, you need somebody to cut the grass, you need somebody to change the wall, you need somebody to do, I got you.
Mm-hmm. That's what it's about, making connections too. So you did that while you were transitioning out of being active duty?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you think you could have done that while you were in? Do you think the time?
Absolutely, man. Yeah. Listen, because I went to school. I did it while I was on shore duty, matter of fact. So I got the school approved. Whatever branch you're in, make sure you route all your paperwork the right way. Don't do nothing under the table. Keep yourself straight. So I got the school approved. And then I just was going to school every, I think it was like every Monday and Wednesday, if I remember, about 3 hours of class. Mm-hmm. Got my license from there.
Yeah, so you got to check with your command and make sure that you're able to do things like that. But I'm here to tell you that it can be done, right? If you had a command, obviously focus on your job first so nobody can talk to you. My number one thing to tell people, junior sailors, even my kids, do what you got to do correctly so I don't got to talk to you. Fact. You don't want me on your case, you don't want me in your ear. Do what you got to do. So get qualified, do what you got to do, and then go out and work on yourself. But do not leave that place. Do not leave the military. Don't leave any place of employment without investing in you first, right? So let's go back. I think I skipped a part, right? So
what's up?
Talking about you obtaining your first property, right?
Okay.
So how old were you? What's your rank? How did you go about getting a VA loan?
Nah, I like that. That's good. Mm-hmm. I think 2018 is 22. I was 24. It was 4 years ago. I was 24. So that's how old I was. Going about getting a VA loan. The first step that I took was I got with an agent. So I posted on my Facebook and I was like, anybody know an agent? I would tell you now, don't do that. Even though I'm an agent, I'm telling you, don't do that. The first thing you should do, get with a lender. Because I can show you all the houses in the world, but if that lender say the money ain't right, then we just wasting gas.
Wasting time.
Ooh. So now, of course, a good agent gonna get you with a good lender. Right. So whatever way you take, just make sure you get the money right first. Because a lot of times people, they want to go see houses. Mm-hmm. I was a culprit of it. I want to see houses. I'm ready to buy, boom, boom, boom. And it's like, all right, can you show me this? But then they're gonna say, are you pre-approved? And it's like, no. So it's like, I'm not gonna show you a $500,000 house,
right?
But you can't.
Approved for $300.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like the see-through refrigerator, Martin, with all the with all the sandwiches in it. It's like the see-through. You just stand there. You go, but like, yeah, man, I've been a victim of that too. Like, I'm looking for my dream house, and my dream house with the yard, the pool, and all that. 400 and 500,000. So yeah, just be mindful. Pre-approval. Write that down.
Write it down. Take a picture of it. I don't even.
Right? Do they have to run your credit for a pre-approval for a loan?
If you get a pre-approval, because there's a difference between a pre-approval and a pre-qual. Mm-hmm. If you get a pre-approval, yes, they have to run your credit. If you get a pre-qual, no. But a pre-qual, it ain't. It's not telling you what it is. It's not telling you what your situation really is.
So pre-approval, right? So
yeah.
Run your credit. So now we got to talk about this.
Talk to me.
So E3, E4 in, right?
All right.
Let's say they making blase. I don't know I forget what their monthly payments are. So you're saying that they are eligible to use their VA loan, right off the bat. They come in the military, got a year in, not even, they can use a VA loan.
Don't quote me. I'm gonna get y'all the actual. It's on the VA.gov website.
VA.gov. So that's another thing. You have to go check your VA benefits. VA.gov, right, to get your what is that letter?
Oh, the certificate of eligibility.
Certificate of eligibility.
Now the thing about that is, if you got a good lender, you don't have to worry about getting that. Now, it's good to know information on it and go on to VA.gov and learning about it, but your lender will request that from the VA when it's time.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool,
so you don't got to really worry about getting that.
All right. So what does a VA loan do? I hear that a lot, like for military, like I hear, is that free money? Is that like, all right, well, I can go to any bank? Or?
So, everybody know VA loan is no down payment. No down payment. So when you think of a mortgage loan, that's the first thing you really think about is a down payment. So VA loan is no down payment. But you still may have to pay closing costs. You're still going to have to pay for inspections and stuff like that. So just because it's no down payment, that don't mean you don't need to have any money saved up.
Woo! There you go. Say that again. Just because it don't mean no down payment, but that don't mean coming to the table broke. So how much would you say? Let's just say an average seller wants to buy a house, 175,000, right?
I bet.
How much you think he needs to come to the table, ready to spend? Let's give you a little
my calculator.
Right, little quick rundown. Right?
All right. So 175, right? So if you're using a VA loan, which that's what we're talking about, you ain't got to bring no down payment, but your closing cost is still gonna be about 3 to 5%. So be conservative. Just go ahead and run it at 5%. So 5%, we're already at $87.50, right? So that's just closing costs. That's not talking about inspections. That's not talking about your earnest money deposit. And I'll ping on that real quick. Earnest money deposit, essentially, if you were selling your house and somebody said, hey, I'm interested in buying it, but before I actually buy it, I want to look at inspections. I want to make sure the house is good enough or whatever. Can you take it off the market? Well, ain't nobody going to take that house off the market without something in their hand or whatever. Right. So you pay an earnest money deposit to the seller saying, hey, while I do my due diligence, boom. If you walk for a reason that is not justifiable, the seller can keep your earnest money deposit. Now, there's plenty of ways you can walk and still keep your EMD. All right, but that EMD is important. You need that. Like, don't get it out your head that you don't need that. You need that. I always tell people start out with at least $500. And the higher you go up in the price, the more you want to offer.
Yeah, more serious they know that you are about buying that property when the EMD is high. All right, so said by 86. So what does that mean, right? Like your E4, E5, or E3, you don't have 8,600 saved up, right? What we're saying is, go ahead and save that money up.
Save that thing.
Don't be so eager to move out the barracks and move off the boat. Maybe it's a grind. There's a grinding period that needs to happen. If I can go back in time,
I'm telling you,
I would stay my black behind on the boat.
I'm telling you,
for that 1-2 years, I would have had that. You make more than that in a year, so like that's a fraction. All I would be paying for is my cell phone and my food. For real.
Easy.
Just it's a grind period that needs to happen. So young cats that are coming in, young folk coming in, don't be so eager to go move in with that roommate and split the rent and throw that money down the toilet. Build financial and generational wealth for yourself.
See, we got to do like a guide, like your first year in the military, first enlistment, what you need to do. Because a lot of people can tell you stories on how they messed that jank up.
Yep. So like, all right, so boom, right back to this house thing, right? So at least I'm gonna just round it, say a nice number, 10K.
10K, that's good. That's real good.
Come to the table with 10K, right? Now, if you are sold on trying to get your house, you don't have fully quite the 10K. Are there ways that you can get assistance with your EMDs, or not EMDs, but the
closing costs?
The closing costs, yeah.
Absolutely. So that come down to strategy, right? So I've had a lot of people come to me talking about, they don't have a lot saved up, but they still want to buy. Their credit there, they could get pre-approved. So I'm like, okay, good. We need to look at houses that's been on the market for a while. Why? Because the seller has their expectation of what they thought they were going to sell for is out the window now, and they willing to really consider any offer. So if we looking at a house that's been on the market 21 days or more, and you like the house is good for you, then I say, hey, let's put an offer in on this, and we ask the seller to pay X amount towards your closing costs.
This is the gospel, right? Because this happened for me, right? My house was on the market for 40-some days.
Yes.
Which is unheard of in the time frame I bought my house.
The COVID
right.
prime. I was like, what is going on?
Right. Houses were going off in like a week, like 10, 15 days at the...
If that. Like a day or two.
Right.
Yeah.
And the bids were going crazy. So when he showed me this house that was 44 days, I'm like, oh, let's go check it out. Had everything I wanted. Even the bathroom with the toilet tucked away. So I knew that... Okay, she was asking for this much.
He is so particular. He was like, I need a house where the bathroom has its, the toilet has its own room.
Right.
So we get in this house. I'm showing this house, and this is my family right here. So I'm showing the house, his family, my family with me. And he go upstairs. We all still downstairs. All I hear is, this is it! This is it! This is it!
Hey, man, I was so turned on by this whole house, the way it was structured. Newly built, everything. But don't be like me, right? Your first home should not be your dream home per se, right?
All right.
And I'm not saying that not meet your expectations and don't settle like too bad, but you know, we're talking about generational wealth. So in that, you may have to take a couple losses in the home category. You don't want, crazy big backyard stuff that don't make sense for you, right? So your first home don't have to be a dream home. Get something comfortable, ranch style home, and
Easy.
look in that area. But where were we? We're talking about bringing that 10K. Oh, yeah. So the assistance, right? Assistance for it. What he negotiated in the contract, like he said, because the house was sitting on the market for so long, hey, you're going to pay half of this guy's closing costs or some of this guy's closing costs.
Easy.
I literally went to that tiling company and they said, and I quote, we have never seen somebody with so much of a credit on a seller credit. This is the biggest seller credit they ever said. And I'm like, I didn't know what the lingo was, nothing. I watched some YouTube videos, but there's so much to know and that you don't know, So, yeah, do your due diligence, do research, but also pick a great real estate agent. You need a great real estate agent to back you up.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know. If you guys don't know the questions to ask, definitely comment below this video. Let us know, because I have 3 separate documents, 15 questions you ask a real estate agent before hiring them, and then 3 questions you ask after you hire them, and I think 5 questions you ask before closing once you find the house. So I'm definitely here to help. If you're not in my market, that doesn't mean I can't help you out. I'm here to help make sure everybody eats. Yeah. Everybody eats, B.
Everybody eats.
I mean,
right. So boom. All right, boom. You get the down closing cost assistance, right? Found your house, get the closing cost assistance. You got a good agent in your corner. All right, what's next, right? Should I be worried about furniture? Should I be worrying about
Man. Yo, these good questions, man. Yeah. I told him to be prepared. He prepared. So, no, don't worry about furniture. Don't worry about. Matter of fact, I seen a TikTok and a dude was kind of talking down on home ownership. He was going through, I just bought this house and this is how much. And he had a lot of footage of him decorating the house and everything. And he was like, it was a lot of unexpected costs with furniture and stuff like that. So I probably would have just stayed renting had I know stuff like this. But what that sounds like is your real estate agent didn't educate you enough. That's all it is, because furniture shouldn't be the reason you don't buy a house.
Right. Because how much are you spending on rent?
Come on.
How much are you going to give to another person, making another person rich?
Come on.
Right? So there's ways around furniture, and you don't need to bite the head off so fast and all one gulp. Take sections of it. Bite it down. Like, the reason why I got all this stuff, I've been living in an apartment for 20-some years. You know what I'm saying? So I've had all this stuff. But normally, if you buy a house, piece by piece, room by room, it could take months, years, whatever. Just do it at your own pace. Never compare yourself. Never feel rushed.
Keeping up with the Williamses.
Right. No, it's not you will fall into debt every time. You will fail every time. So one of the biggest things, right, I figured out, and I'm not going to say the hard way, but I was scared. During that time frame you are waiting to close, don't mess with your credit.
Leave that. Ooh.
Yes.
Moment of silence. Once you and a seller, you're the buyer and you have a seller, y'all go under agreement. Y'all sign a contract. Not at closing yet, but you're under agreement. You're in your under contract period.
Under contract.
Don't go get a car unless you're buying it cash. Don't go get a car. Don't go get no jewelry on credit. don't move a muscle.
Nothing.
If you even think about it, contact your lender first. Contact the lender first. Yep. And then if the lender ain't convinced you, contact your agent because they both gonna be like,
off the ledge, right?
Sit down.
Yeah. Sit your ass down. This is exactly, I had an issue coming up into buying a house. I still have a life going on, y'all. I still got rent and bills and stuff. I zeroed out all my, I paid off all my debt, right? So I wanted to look good coming to that real estate table. I paid off all that debt. But in them 30, that was the longest 33 days. I don't even think it took 28 days.
Yeah.
It was the longest 28 days of my life because I had to do stuff. We had stuff planned out and traveling, and so I had to, rob Peter to pay Paul for a little bit. But if I knew what I know, like in that moment, I would have been okay, cool. I would have been grandma, let me home. Give me, I pay you back, grandma.
Talking though. That's because that's a perspective they don't talk about a lot. Like agents, loan officers, they don't talk about that a lot. Yeah, when you go into contract, you need to sit still. But this is things that we want to get you to think about a year before you go to buy.
Yes.
Because if you're thinking this a year before you buy, all right, so when I start shopping next March, then that means the previous March, boom. All right, cool. So when I'm ready, I know I can't do this, I can't do that, I need to have this much saved up, boom, boom, boom. So, and real quick, stay where we at, but it's important to have a lot of money saved up before buying a house, not because you need it, but it gives you leverage. I always tell people, this is my thing. If you hear anybody else say this, they stole it from me. Buy a house when you want to, not when you need to. Woo! If you buy a house when you need to, you're going to overlook a lot of stuff on the inspection. Yes. The seller going to, bully you like, nah, we ain't doing this, we ain't doing that. You be like, okay.
You taking the washer and dryer?
Yeah. Yeah. True story. Yeah. But when you saved up and you got all your ducks in a row and you could take your time, you know what I mean? You have so much more control, and you could sit there and say to a seller, hey, listen, I'm willing to meet you in the middle, but if you're not meeting me, I'll walk. It ain't nothing.
Facts, right? So, good tidbits. Hope y'all writing this down, man. All right, so moving on. So now, right, you got the house under contract, right? You're not messing with your credit, right? They're going to check one more time. Right before closing.
That's right.
That morning.
Now I'm not a loan officer, but from my experience, consult your loan officer, consult a professional. But in my experience from the outside, yes, they're gonna check that one more time before closing.
Yep. So so you gotta come to closing with your money. Don't spend that money that you need for closing. Right. You already have a contract. You're reviewing your contract. They're gonna bug you about your credit history and bank statements and all that. Just meet those deadlines. Right. Whoever you're going your loan through. Good loans, right? Good places to go through a loan with.
Always stick to local lenders.
Why is that? Why not go for big market?
All right, so when you say big market, of course, we're talking about your big credit unions. Talking about Navy Federal. We're talking about USAA, Bank of America. What is the other one? Doesn't matter.
Veterans.
That's another one. Veterans United is another one. But I say stay away from them. It's not that they don't do good work, but really they don't they don't have the accessibility that local lenders have. So what do I mean? If I get you with my partner, my lender, you could talk to them 24/7. Now, of course, if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, it depends on what it is. They're going to answer that phone. But for the most part, you could text them and they're going to text you like, yeah, boom, boom, boom. But if you go with Navy Federal, you go with Bank of America, them people getting paid regardless of if you get this home or not.
So they bound by office hours, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
And some of them, because I've done transactions where they still respond to emails on the weekend, but for a first-time home buyer who asks a question, typically they want to answer back very fast.
Right.
So an email ain't cutting it. I need to be able to hit up the lender and be like, yo, boom, 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 boom.
Personal cell, right? Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
So that's the biggest thing. And then I will say too, Navy Federal, they do mortgage loans. Bank of America, they all do mortgage loans. But you don't go to Walmart for a sub. The sub might be good.
In Walmart. Oh, That's a word.
You
You
know what I
don't go
mean?
to Walmart for no sub.
The sub might be it might be cool, but if you want a good sub, you're gonna go to Firehouse, you're gonna go to Subway, you're gonna go to Zeros. They specialize in subs. This is all they do.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So stick with local lenders.
Word. So local lenders, right? Boom. So you have all this info. Boom. You writing it down, right? So now we have our local lender. We have our house under contract. We have our earnest money deposit already sent, right? We have our closing costs, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully we have a good agent to negotiate. You know,
Easy day.
She's paying most of the closing costs.
Let me ping on that too. A good transaction between a buyer and a seller, what it feels like is they both walk away from the table like they both won. It shouldn't feel like you as a buyer, you walked away and you're like, nah, they really got me. Or the seller like, nah, they got me. Nah, we should be able to meet in the middle somewhere. You know what I mean? With his situation earlier, yeah, they paid a lot of his closing costs, but she had an urgent situation where she was really trying to move fast because she was military. So it was like, okay, can you do this for us so we could get you a fast closing? Yeah. Absolutely. Everything. Everybody was good.
Everybody eats, B.
Everybody eats, B.
All right, so boom, now we come into the closing day, right? They run your credit again, right? That's what we're not talking about. That's what we're talking about, not maxing your credit cards out, not taking out loans, not increasing your DTI. You're going to hear that. Ooh. Debt to income ratio, right? You don't want to increase that, and that's going to heavily depend on what you're getting paid from your active duty job, whatever, and then the debts you have associated with your credit, right? So you don't want to mess that up because that's what got you approved for the amount you got approved for, right? Typically, I say too for the younger folk, try to stay under 12 to $1,300 a month, right? Just a comfortable level. You should be under that most anyway.
You talking about mortgages
and mortgage payments, right? I would. You know, so don't go for the fancy big house. Like I said, the first house shouldn't be your dream home, right? Do something substantial that you can live with, you're comfortable with, right? And go from there.
If we talking house hacking, the mortgage matters, but it really doesn't.
Okay, we're not there. House hacking yet.
We're not there.
Not there.
All right, he said stop.
All right, so boom. All right, we're gonna touch that. That's house hacking is a beast in itself. All right, so boom, closing table, everything good. You get to you pay all your transactions, everything. Read your contracts, right? Don't let them speed you out of the contract room. If you want to, you can have a lawyer present to go over the stuff. They have a lawyer provided at the
settlement company,
whichever
one you go with,
right? Yeah. But I would advise having somebody you pay for if you have the funds and the availability. Have your own lawyer present. But anyway, go through your contracts, you sign, and you walk away with the keys. Right, so now we fast forward into this house.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Fast forward into this house.
Okay.
All right, what do you think we're going to get into house hacking. What do you think, let's say our E4 just joined, been in less than 2 years. How do I make this transaction work for me? How do I house hack? I've heard it.
I got you. So let's look at the definition of house hacking. House hacking is being able to live in a house and not have to pay your mortgage or minimize it as much as possible.
What?
Why you being extra?
This is what you see on the YouTube video. I want to see why he's touching his face. Like,
that's funny. So yeah, that's what house hacking is. So look at the numbers. I would say it depends on the property type. So are you looking for a multifamily? The ideal situation is a multifamily, duplex, triplex, or quadplex. Ooh. Why? Because you could live in one unit and rent out the others. You don't have to come across your tenants often. That's the ideal.
Can you house?
You good.
Can you house hack a single family house?
Absolutely.
Okay.
If you get a single family house and you house hacking it, I would always recommend at least 3 bedrooms, at least 2 bathrooms. That way you don't have to share a bathroom with the people you're renting, and then you could maximize the other 2 bedrooms, right? So if you want to get down and dirty like me, my first property was a condo, but I mean it was pretty good size, so you could arguably say it was a single family. And I was like, you know what? I really like what I'm doing, so I gave up my master bedroom. Master bedroom had a walk-in closet, huge walk-in closet. Had its own bathroom and a private balcony. So I was like, easy. Right across the street from the base. When I say right across the street, I could be at the base in a 2 to 3 minute walk maybe. So I was like, okay, I could probably get like $600 to $700 for that. rolled the dice, said I wanted 700. Somebody met me in the middle at 650. Boom. My smaller bedroom, I put up for about 500. And keep everything in mind, just to make it look good for them. I'm like, hey, you don't have to put your name on any utilities or like Wi-Fi. Like, I already got all of that. All of this is included. Boom, boom, boom. So that's how that.
Everybody's eating on that deal. Talk about. So how much was your mortgage for you? How much was your mortgage
at the time? That condo, boy. I didn't have the knowledge then that I have now. That condo was a steal. The dude must have been going through something because it was a short sale. If you don't know what a short sale is, literally short of being foreclosed. The seller is willing to sell it for whatever's left and let the bank take that, as opposed to it going in foreclosure. So I got a short sale in great condition. It needed to be updated, but the condition was amazing. Got it for $125. It appraised at $135, so I already had $10K equity going into it.
Preach.
At that time, I think I got a interest rate of like 4.2. Monthly payments came out to $830 maybe before I refinanced. Just before I refinanced, it's like $830. I had condo fees too. This is where I learned too. Condo fees was $230. So then I was like, bet. So I had the master bedroom being rented out $650, the other bedroom $500. So everything was good. I was pocketing probably like $100, but that's better than
not
having
paying a mortgage.
Yeah, so
$1,000, whatever. Yeah, so there you go. Right, a single family unit, right, single family house. Renting out both his bedrooms. You're a single sailor. You know, no baby mama drama, no wife, no kids, whatever. I mean, you have to also cover a CYA, right? We'll get into that later about contracts and stuff. But yeah, you moved into one bedroom. You rent out the other two bedrooms. You could be making a surplus of money. They are paying you to live in your house.
And like you said, it's so everybody eats, because this could be an E4 or E5 that got BAH. Now, depending on your location, for us, that location was, I want to say BAH was $1,600. I'm only charging you $5.
This is legal. This is legal.
This is completely legal. This is legal. Like, this ain't no phony nothing.
Right.
I'm only charging you $500, everything included. The other dude $650, everything included. He's pocketing so much, so much.
Yeah. All you have to do, and then, always confirm this with your legal, representation, whatever you need
Absolutely.
to. All right. You can fact check us, right? But make sure you can draft up a leasing agreement, right? They're free. Google them.
Yeah.
You can get them from a legal office, a lawyer. But a lease agreement, make sure all the parties are on there with the assigned charges, so no one's messed over if anybody has to leave and everything. So. But that is the, man, had I known that, 19 years old.
Man, I'm telling you,
what?
man.
I would have 4 or 5 properties by now. Right? 4 easy. It's a no-brainer. So that the single family thing, right? A little close-knit, right? You're sharing your space. So, you're sacrificing there. Let's talk about getting financed or approved for financing for a multi-family house. What is the process like? Is that different?
Nah, it's the same process. It's the same process. So the VA loan, along with the FHA loan, they have what you call a 1-year owner occupied. You have to, when you sign that contract, it's literally in the contract. Does the buyer intend to occupy? You have to check that spot if it's a VA or FHA, and you have to live in it for at least 1 year. So when you're looking at it like that, if it's a single family and you're moving into it, you good. If it's a multifamily, all you have to do is move into one unit. It's the same exact process, nothing more, nothing less.
So how do they verify you? I mean, obviously it's in your name. What, you got to put a utility, or they ride by and see? Maybe we shouldn't talk about that.
No. I don't know how they verify it. What I think from being an agent, again, I don't know. I think it's from your homeowner's insurance. Because what you get is a PITI loan, principal, interest, taxes, insurance. So it's all wrapped up into one. Your lender takes care of all of that. So if your homeowner's insurance changes, like your primary, this is where I'm living, homeowner's insurance changes, then they're going to be like,
I was going to opinion. Oh, cool,
yeah.
Cool. All right.
That's what I think.
Yeah, right. So, like, multi-family house, you can get approved for, up to a quad
Quadplex. Yeah, once you go above 4 units, 5, 6, 8, now we're talking about commercial property, and that's a different ball game.
Okay. So is the closing costs any really different, or is it just still mattered about the overall price of the?
Nah, it's just overall price. Overall, and then some mortgage companies now, and we got to have a mortgage professional up here that think like us. They're actually now doing a little program where you could take the rent that particular property will give you and use that to help you qualify to get it. So
qualify to get the place that you about to get.
Yeah, so let's say you're looking at a fourplex and the mortgage is probably $2,000.
Right.
Each unit will rent out for $1,500. So 15 times 4, was that 6,000? Yeah, so you get 6,000. So you could use the cash flow, I believe. Again, I'm not a loan officer, so definitely got to verify. Got to have somebody come up here. But you can use that projected income, because what they do is, just like you run a comparative market analysis for a house, you do the same thing for a rental. So you just look at the place, where you at, how many bed, bath, square footage, is it updated now? You look at all of that, and you can use that prospective income to qualify you for that.
That is game right there, y'all.
Yeah,
this is game. So now, all right, so we touched how to get in a single family house and house hack, how to get in a quadplex, duplex, house hacking.
Yeah.
So how are we gonna really hack it, right? So now we talking about they're paying us the mortgage. They're paying us to live in our. Yeah. We're getting paid to live in our own unit or our own house, whatever.
Yeah.
So now, 4 years come by. I gotta move duty stations. What do I do? Do I sell this or what do I do?
Oh no, not at all. So first things first. If our vision, if our goal is to build, then you need to be saving your bread. You don't need to be going out throwing money away like, ooh, I'm not paying a mortgage, or ooh, I got $400 or $500. You need to be stacking that money, because you trying to go do that again. So
pay yourself like you paying that mortgage.
Easy, right? So if you switch duty stations, and if you plan on doing 20 years and you really want to maximize house hacking, I will always say move duty stations away from the state. Why? Because let's say you buy the house and you legitimately, because we see this a lot with chiefs, they make chief. You legitimately had like 2 or 3 years left at your duty station, but then you make chief, and now they trying to push you out to a whole different state. That's not your fault, and the mortgage companies understand that. So now once you move there, or you have a letter, orders saying that you're moving, now you're qualified to use the VA loan again. Woo! That's what the hacking is in so many ways, but to like military house hack, once you had that letter, them orders that say, yes, I'm moving from Virginia down to Florida or to Texas or whatever, you can start shopping for another home and you good.
This is not just for so I hope y'all don't get confused. It's just not for the E6s and the E7s. This could be. I have a friend right now. He made E5 a while back. He house hacked. He had a house here in Portsmouth.
That's what I'm talking about.
He moved to Texas, got another house, and I know one guy who we met was an officer. He has like what?
Oh, you talking about
10 doors?
Can we say name? Can we say names?
Yeah, I think he wants to publicity.
He was an officer. He's black.
Yeah.
I think you know. Yeah. At CRS4.
Yeah.
Because he on an active duty passive income.
Yeah. That's where. Man. So this is free game, right? You buy a property here, quadplex, duplex, single house, whatever. Float your boat. If I was single, I would definitely do a quadplex. Easy.
What?
I'm talking about the ROI, create rate on investment, return of investment.
There you go.
Is coming in. They paying me X amount of dollars. I can make a double payment on my mortgage to pay that down. Build up equity. There's so many keys, so many doors that opens, right? So many doors that open. So now I'm going to another duty station. I am repeating the process. I'm getting another place. I'm staying in it for another year. I'm renting the rooms out, getting that money. So now you have 2 rental properties under your portfolio.
Easy.
Money coming in. You're saving your money that's coming from the military is literally used for investments or savings, right? The money coming from the rental properties is using to pay all your bills. It's just
and I mean my ultimate goal for this podcast is to equip you with enough information so that you could build yourself up to a point where if you doing 20, you could just say, if I want to get out at 10 or 11, I'm comfortable financially because of my investment.
Right.
So if you making $4,000 a paycheck, you should be trying to get your investments to get you $4,000 on the side.
That's the whole goal. That's why I started the trucking company.
Yeah.
I saw the money I was making on deployment. I said, all right, I need to either make this or double this every month. Yeah. How can I do that, right? So I did my research, did my due diligence, and I learned it. And then the real estate was always been there. I just took forever to do that. I don't know why.
We do that. It's all good.
Yeah.
But you know what, though? Real quick, let me ping on that because it's like, we as black people, we always say, yo, we gotta get it out the mud by ourselves. We gotta do this. I don't want to say I want to need help. Now, when you got a team, what's wrong with saying, yo, you know the trucking, do the trucking for both of us. I do the real estate because I know real estate. Man, I'll do that for both of us.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, that's the problem that separates. I think a lot of people, and I get pissed off when a lot of people say, oh, this black people's problem. And I'm like, everybody has the same problems. We dog, whatever. Everyone's in it to win it, you know. I think one of the issues we do have collectively is that we're so scared to ask for help. We're so scared to, because, you know, people be people sometimes. I like to say that. But we need to come together. Had I started that trucking company with the 3 other guys I was working with at the time, they all decided to go do their own trucking company.
Yeah, man,
we would have taken down Ryder and, you know, all those. If we had the money from the point, we had all the assets, we had the knowledge, we just everyone was so focused on doing their own thing. And
it take a lot of foresight to see the vision. We're gonna get back on topic, but it take a lot of foresight because I was trying to hop on you I was trying to hop on that with you because I was gunning. I was like, I gotta find a truck. I'm gonna give it to him. I was trying. It just didn't work out. But I'm telling you, if you got the foresight to say, okay, we might not be able to really profit in the first 2 years, but after everything paid off and the revenue coming in, we all making 6 figures, no brainer.
Yeah, I'm gonna, and hopefully in the podcast, like hopefully we make a truck, and I'll probably put that information out there because
we could get
a lot of scams out. I'm gonna give you the game for free. You ain't gotta pay no
free
coach.
Free game.
Right? I'll be your mentor. I'll give you free game, right?
Free game,
trucking A to Z, right? But anyway, so now. I think we touched everything, right? You get a rental property. You can get a single family house and house hack that. Yeah. Rental property is probably more lucrative, probably smarter. A single sailor.
You said a rental property? A multifamily.
A multifamily, like a quadplex, whatever.
Yeah.
Right, and turn that into a rental property after a year or 2 years, right? This is that.
We covered everything.
Yeah.
You was talking about contracts and stuff when you got roommates. So I do have a roommate lease. If you guys are interested in seeing that, just comment below. I don't mind sending that out. It's perfect. And what I always told people, I'm like, listen, this protects me and it protects you because God forbid I wake up crazy one day and I'm like, nah, get out of my place. But you got a copy of this agreement. No, you are entitled to live here because we signed this and you are paying. And it's, vice versa. Now, if things go smooth and everything, this is just gonna sit in the storage cabinet or it's gonna get shredded or something like that. Right. But it's just to protect both of us.
CYA.
Cover your
ass. We can say that.
We can say that.
All right, man. But yeah, that is great info. This is man. Hopefully, we're making a whole bunch of little. Thousandaires out there, man. Whole 2
little something.
Right, man.
That's
save
the goal.
Your money, save your bread. That's the goal, man. Don't go out here flex. Forget these people. Forget everyone. Just there was I think Greg Cardone said if you tuck yourself away 6 months, you'll become the version of your true self. 6 months, you do some work, guaranteed you become the version of your true self. You maximize your capability. So, right. Go out there, go do great things, man.
Anything else?
Nah.
Nothing else for me. Remember, I'm Mars and you are?
Kareem.
Yo, we hope y'all enjoyed this first episode of the Boots in the Bag podcast. We're going to ping on it real quick and get out of here. The reason we came up with the name the Boots in the Bag, the boots represent service members, veterans. Absolutely. Right. But we all got to get that bag.
Everyone got to get to the bag.
Get that bag.
Got to get to the bag.
Boots in the Bag, baby. So stay tuned with us. Definitely subscribe. Hit the bell so you know when we drop an episode. The goal is to drop episodes every week. Every week. So definitely stay tuned. On the next episode, we're going to be talking about car leasing.
Car leasing, SCRA, help you how to buy a car A to Z and walk you down that.
Easy day.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that.